Greetings and welcome back once again. If I could be heard, hit the like button and the subscribe button and drop something in the comment box to let me know that I can be heard this beautiful afternoon. You know what I mean? All praise to the Creator for another day of life. Um, yeah, this is Amuna. Welcome to the channel. If you've already been here before, you don't know. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, come on in. You feel me? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. All right. So we hear you loud and clear. So there I was. Y'all know how I do. What's going on, Judah? Minding my business. And the sister hit me up. Put your hand up, sis, if you know what it is. And like, yo, I'm gonna check this. So I checked it, and sometimes I do exhaust the topic, especially if I'm not done, and especially if it still interests me. Not just because it may be trending, but because there's some more information to get out of it, some more solonomics to get out of it. You know what I mean? Good morning, good morning, good morning, LF. So this Kevin Samuels never ending saga is one such topic. And so there's some information brought out. Not only it's just people don't talk about the dead. You're wicked and evil if you have an opinion that's not favorable. All of these things that's floating around. Okay. But I said, let me take a quick look. So I not only found comedians, because I was sent the video with the comedian who is told they hit him up in the inbox telling him that he shouldn't do a character anymore. So we're going to take a look at that. And then I'm actually going to start with the pastor. This is the pastor here in the forefront. Yeah, Judah, you already know. You asked me to do the thing. I'm here. I'm here. Okay. So we're going to start with the pastor because I think it's interesting. And then we are going to learn something as we always do here at this channel. I was going to talk about something else, the 90-day fiance, but that has to go on the back burner. Can you believe it? So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen here. We're always going to learn something. And we're first going to check out this past. I heard it in passing, but sometimes even unfortunately within the church, there's a lot of clout chasing. And share this video. I really thought to go on a panel the other day, but then actually last night. But then I was like, do I have this energy? Because there was some supporters that was came through, and they were saying the most of some just far out things, and I'm like, I don't think I have the energy, but I did listen in. I was glad that some people was bringing forward another point, but there's a lot of craziness going on right now. Without further ado, though, let me pull this thing off so we can all see together. I got a lot of tabs open, so y'all gonna have to bear with me. Let me see here. Y'all like my little "Don't talk about Bruno"? We don't talk about Kevin. No, no, no. My little Encanto reference. We don't talk about Kevin. They say don't talk about Kevin. You know what I mean? But why though? But why? But why? I'll tell a little story before when I went to my grandfather's funeral. Um, some of the stuff that the people were saying, I was like, did they know this man? So when people pass, I've noticed, even in my own family, people start acting real weird. And I'm not the person, I'm not the pretender. So it's difficult for me to just accept when people are just acting weird. You feel me? And in this Kevin Samuels situation, people acting real weird right now. So now you can see my screen cool. So let's go to Pastor Man, okay? From the National Black Church Initiative, NB SIA offers faith based, out of the box, and cutting edge solutions to stubborn economic and social issues. Okay? So, back on the 6th, last week when this occurred, he promptly wrote at 3:46 p.m. If you want to know who the he is Reverend Anthony Evans. Okay? Let me go back and give you a close up. I put him on the flyer, but just so you can see who's giving you this stern. Oh, look at that stern warning. He got it in his eyes. Like, you better not say nothing about Bruno. That's a stern warning he giving you right there. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Yeah. I can't be because I'm on the Facebook thing. So if it pops up. So he's giving you a stern warning in his yellow tie. He said, y'all better not talk about Bruno. So NBCI, aka Reverend Anthony Evans, wants a sorry, let me slow down. Wants to send a stern moral warning to all black people, especially black women, who are disrespecting Mr. Kevin Samuels on his untimely death. Now, I don't want to, I'm going to keep reading. Now, let me not interject. It is both wrong and evil to speak of the dead. The black church would like all to stop being so disrespectful to this child of God. This is someone's son and brother. How would you like for others to speak ill of you or your family at the lowest time of your life? Stop it now, two exclamation points. Reverend Anthony Evans, President. It was short, a little blurb, but I got a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lot of 686 people and 884 comments later and 124 shares, a lot of people had some questions too. So let's look at the initial message. One would have to, well, I would first ask, did you come out? If did you watch Kevin Samuels? Did you come out in defense of him, or when he was disparaging women for the last 2 years on social media, during all of his viral moments, did at any point did you address his behavior? What many perceived as disrespect. The reason why he's so divisive in the community is because there's some who perceive him as disrespectful or cruel, as we heard on yesterday's broadcast, and there are others who, even though he may be quote disrespectful and cruel, he's doing a job. So the question is, where did Reverend Anthony Evans fall on this? And this his first time speaking about Kevin Samuels, because he's jumping out with disrespect, but he's defending Kevin Samuels. And the question is, did he defend any of these women that he disrespect? That's what I would first ask. So, but he put that on the death because he died, because this person who has been known in times past to be disrespectful, he's saying don't return that energy at this time because he's no longer here. Now he goes to the moral side. It's both wrong and evil to speak ill of the dead. Many people are saying it's evil, it's wrong to speak ill of the dead. And being that he's a reverend, I went back to look for some information about what the Bible says about it, right? Because sometimes along the way, I'm not saying that I'm not out here speaking evil. Let's just get that first. Like, Amanda, this is wicked. But sometimes people say stuff that is not verifiable. They picked it up along the way, but it's not from where you think they picked it up, right? The black church would like all to stop being so disrespectful to this child of God. Now, that part right there is everything. This part right here, when we say child of God, is he using the term loosely? Because I'm questioning if this same pastor took the opportunity to see that he was picking up random women and laying with them, and that he advocated for such behavior. At what point are you a child of God? Is it just because you're born, or is it due to your behavior? Question. And then he goes on to say that this is someone's son. How would you like for someone to speak at your lowest time? Stop it now, right? Let me read Ezekiel first so I could close some of these things. Let me stop sharing this. As it relates to people referring to the Bible, and it'd be like people who don't never go to the Bible, people who don't read the Bible, all of a sudden, these said people, what's going on in India? These people want to all of a sudden be Bible reference scholars, which I find interesting. You hear him say he grew up in the church. He's aware of the church. I did a video on it. But then when he realized that that was simp behavior, he leaned towards the pimp and the Mac part of his family, and he had ear to that. He walked away from the church. Right? He was leading people away from things that were righteous and upright. Some would say he was trying, you can't, bitter and sweet cannot come from the same fountain. So we just need to stop playing these mind games, these duplicitous mind games, right? Duplicitous. But let's jump into Ezekiel. Let's just say he started off in the church. Let's see what the prophet Ezekiel has to say about this particular conversation. And this one is for Reverend, right? Ezekiel, I know we like scripts. Ezekiel 18:24. It's not that I can't pull scripts. I think, anyway, let me continue. We can do any version we want, but let's do the King James for the sake of argument. But when the righteous, he was talking about people and behavior. So, this is in the middle of the verse. Feel free to read the whole thing. It's like a pimp name slip. You got to read the whole thing. Ezekiel 18, but then we have the 24th verse. When a righteous person turns away from his righteousness, I grew up in the church. My daddy was a deacon. My grandma was the deaconess, whatever. I was a singles minister, and commits iniquity, sleeps with random, advises people to be promiscuous, um, just be a scoffer. When you turn away from righteousness and commit iniquity and does according to all the abominations that the wicked man does, shall he live? All the righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, because of the unfaithfulness of which he is guilty, and the sin which he has committed. Because of them he shall die. I am not wishing death on anybody, but if we're gonna, this is for Pastor, what's his name again? I don't want to, the pastor who wrote this admonition to everybody that it's wicked to talk about what they're talking about. What's his name? Anthony Evans. And that he was a child of God, but yet still the very last occurrence was him dying in his iniquity. No one wished that for him. Why are we making up things in the Bible? Let me read that again. You want another version? When a righteous man turns away from his righteousness and commits iniquity, we know that he was committing iniquity. He actually said he's going to hell and taking y'all with him. He was aware. And does according to all the abominations that the wicked man does, shall he live. All the righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered. Oh, he was a good guy. He helped me one time. He had gave me $5. But if you die in the iniquity, this is why it says it's not the desire that any shall die, but that should turn from their wickedness, right? Because the point is not to die in his iniquity. He literally perished in his iniquity. Well, are we going to pretend, is that speaking ill of somebody, or is that being honest about the facts that we were given? All the righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, because of the unfaithfulness of which he is guilty, and the sin which he has committed. Because of them he shall die. If we're going to go to the Bible, then we cannot cherry pick on what we're seeing and then make the wicked deed be upon the people who are making note of what is going on. That's calling wickedness righteousness and righteousness wickedness. So I'm going to stop sharing that. That was the book of Ezekiel. Now we're going to jump over to Proverbs, because Solomon is my dude. Outside of, he turned from his righteousness and did that which was wicked, right? But before he did that, he had some righteous deeds. So let's see what Solomon had to say about the name, because people are saying, don't speak on the name. You can't talk about the name. Like, because they have deified this person, they have elevated this person to God status, quote unquote. They feel as though no one can say anything. Okay, Proverbs 11 and 10. And this has to do with the perishing or something happening to righteous or the wicked, right? So in the people who felt he was righteous, quote unquote, they're saddened. But the people who felt he was wicked or a scoffer or all of these things, so the people who felt he was righteous are because the person himself wasn't a the city rejoice, right? But and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. Right now, you have people saying, "Stop shouting, stop talking." Why would somebody excited in this way? We've seen other people die, like Nipsey Hussle died. He was arrested for something producing about. So you had a different outpouring for that type of individual who started off on the wrong foot and tried to come right. In Kevin Samuel's situation, according to, he started off on the right foot and then he went wrong. So you're having a different response. When it go well with the righteous, the city rejoice, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. Different version. When it go well with the righteous, the city rejoice, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. Years ago, that there's a connection between what the people perceive as a wicked, quote, ruler or leader and how they respond. Good, bad, or indifferent. This is not a plenty of people who decide to hold their peace. But for us to pretend that you cannot state what was happening or what you experienced because the person has passed, that's robbing another person of an opportunity to deal with what they need to deal with. They your mouth. Can y'all be heard? Let me know if I can be heard. I'm outside again. I'm going in and out. Hold on one second. Oh, they're making me move. Hold on, people. I'm gonna put a little short break. Hold on. Malaya, pass the key for me. The key for the car. I gotta move the car a little bit closer to the building. I gotta move the car a little bit closer to the building so y'all can be heard. So what was I gonna say? So yeah, let me get one more script here. If you didn't hear the scriptures, I'll put them in there just to show you that people will guilt are not even biblical if they say they're going by the biblical understanding. It's just like they say this is a level of emotion. Here we go. Proverbs 10:7. So far we heard that when the wicked perish, that there will be shouting, there will be jubilation. Now, the jury is out. That's what the issue is. I think that the people aren't sure if he was wicked or if he was righteous. Some say he was a sinner, others say he was a saint. Now, Proverbs 10:7. Where is she? Hold on one second. Get this key. Father, why is this thing a little closer to the router? Let me know if that helps. Today we're having a conversation. People are out here saying, "Don't say a word. Don't talk about Bruno." And the injustice. But Ezekiel says, when a righteous man turns away from his righteousness and commits iniquity and does according to all the abominations that the wicked man does, shall he live? All the righteous he is guilty, and the sin of them he church initiative, Reverend Anthony Evans, wrote back on the 6th, walk and to see whether or not they should give up the goods and the cookies and all kind of madness, right? I read Proverbs 11 and 10. When it go well with the righteous, the city rejoice, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting or jubilation. People do. Somebody who feels like they were emotionally, mentally, psychologically oppressed by someone, for them not humanity goes. Like for instance, Goliath died. The nation of Israel, when David slew Goliath, according to, were they crying or were they rejoiced that Goliath died? Somebody who was of Goliath's stature, who was over the people, um, it's still breaking up. Oh, that's stressing me. Hold on, now I gotta get out the car. Fine, fine, fine. I'm telling you, my children's ears, man. That's why I don't do this stuff inside anymore, because they hear and pick up everything. Hold on. What are you people doing? Okay, hold on. Let me go in the back. Let me go in the back. Y'all stay in the front. I'm on live there. All right, I'm inside. There should be no complaints at this point, peoples. I'm inside. Y'all have convinced me to getting out from my vacationing spot. Now I'm inside. Fine, fine, fine. All right. All right. So hopefully I'm not breaking up anymore because like I'm like right under the router. Yeah, I'm inside now. So the router is right where I am. Sorry. What was I gonna say? So I went over some scriptures. The last scripture I wanted to go over was Proverbs 10 and 7 that says, "The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot." I'll say that again. The memory of the just, like somebody remembers, like a Maya Angelou, or somebody remembers, even for some people, Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi, for some. For others, it's like, none. But some Mother Teresa for some. I don't know. I'm just saying for some, right? They are saying this person was just, this person was upright in their mind. So it's blessed. But the name of the wicked shall rot. So right now, what we're seeing is this back and forth between whether the person was just or whether the person was wicked, and you're seeing the reactions on both sides. But you're also seeing people pulling moral um, high cards to say, if you react in a way that I don't desire, that means you're wicked, right? So I find that interesting. It's a breezy day today, so that may be why. So it's all right. I'll come inside. So let's see what some of the people had to say. So let me go back over there. Let me close my scripts. Proverbs 10 and 7, 11 and 10, Ezekiel 18 and 24. So now let me go back to sharing my screen here. Let me go back to sharing my screen. And we're going to see what some of the people said. And then I'm going to get another video where the people are even coming at the comedians. There's something spiritual going on here, because for someone to be leading you so far off the path and you to be defending this person in such a way, it's questionable. All right, so here's the actual post, and let's see what some of the people say. I'm trying to get into the post itself. Uh, how do you make it bigger? Let me see. No. Okay, some of the statements are Satan's right hand man is the author of this said stern warning. I'm done. This is why the church is stagnant, empty, and sick. The women that frequent this church should take Anthony Stern's warning as a warning sign. Wow. Oh, chill. They I'm done. I didn't read it. This is my first time reading. They told him to go to Hades. The church always defend and protect black men like him as well as predators. This is why nobody wants to sit in church now, hiding behind the cloth, supporting foolishness. That's what I asked. Did you speak out when the man was defaming people? Let this be a message to you to not come to the womb man this way. I hope you pray for your God and he has mercy on your soul for this BS. I'm done. He said, tread lightly. I can't. Then she gave him a threat talking about the ancestors are on the roll. I'm done. I'm done. So the women have come out. Stuff like this is why a lot of people are not fooling with the church anymore. Silent when black women are getting harmed every 5.5 hours. We spoke about yesterday. Quick to call girls getting preyed on fast, but issuing a statement for this clown. Wow. You could have said nothing like you did when Mr. Samuels was out here disrespecting and dogging your good tithing paying members. She said you need a social media manager. I'm done. Okay, so Troy. Troy says, I agree. We shouldn't speak evil of the dead. It is disrespectful and unfortunate. But I don't think we should be sending out stern warnings over it either. Not trying to troll, just my opinion. Blessings to us all, or to all. Right? So, to that statement, I thought that statement was interesting about speaking evil of the dead. So, I decided to look up where it's coming from because I don't remember. And if you do, where it is in the Bible, that would be helpful. Right? Um, but I said this possibly may be coming from somewhere else because there are places where whole songs were made about an enemy perishing. I'm not saying to rejoice, but there are whole songs made about enemies perishing, conquering enemies, going around the wall of Jericho, overcoming them, coming out of Egypt, and the Egyptians passing away because of the oppressive nature that they were against Israel. So I'm trying to figure out where this information is coming from. If you do know, let me know. But so let me jump over here though. Let me jump over here. Hold on. I'm gonna come read your comments. Hopefully I can be heard better because I'm all the way inside now. They usually say we outside, but we inside. We inside. Let me see here. I have one. Why do we say don't speak ill of the dead? I just wanted to know. Meaning, do not say bad things about those who have died, right? So the question is, if those who have died have done bad things, what is somebody supposed to do? Like for instance, if it was some communist ruler who oppressed the people, if it was Jim Jones who died, if it was Marilyn Manson who died, if it was all people who have historically done bad things, what is somebody supposed to say? Are they supposed to acknowledge the bad things that they have done? Are they supposed to use it as a cautionary tale? Or are they supposed to pretend that because that person is no longer here, those bad things didn't occur and that we should go on as what about memory? What's the point of having a good name versus a bad name if none of those things follow you, right? If then everybody pretends that it never really happened. Anywho, the background. The earliest known use of this expression is in the lives and opinion of eminent philosophers written by Diogenes Laertius around 300 AD. It didn't say the Bible. It didn't say Philippians. It didn't even say the New Testament. It didn't say Ecclesiastes. It says the earliest known use of this expression, Pastor Man, is in the lives and opinions of eminent philosophers written by, I'm not even going to try again, Diogenes Laertius, I tried again, around 300 AD. In this, he attributes Chilion of Sparta as saying, don't badmouth a dead man, quote unquote. Chilion was one of the seven sages of Greece, a title given by ancient Greek tradition to 6th century BC philosophers and statesmen who were revered for their wisdom. I'll say it again. We have the pastor here saying, like he was pulling a Bible script, where the Bible speaks a little bit differently to this conversation. He's saying that it is both wrong and evil to speak ill of the dead, right? And he didn't give you any script or supporting evidence. And then when we look up where this is coming from, it's coming from Greek philosophy. It says it probably made its way into modern day vernacular, and you can look these people up. Abrigio, what's good with their names? Traversian. He sounds like somebody from around the way. Traversiari, Latin translation of Beaujeu's book in the 15th century. It appears to have made its way to America with the early settlers, as it appears in Will and Doom. Despite sounding like the name of a rather violent computer game, Will and Doom, or The Miseries of Connecticut by and Under Usurped Arbitrary Power, is a book by Gershom Buckley, written in 1692. Bulkley, 1635 to 1713, was a Christian minister, physician, surgeon, and magistrate. We are not entirely clear on the topic of the book, but given that Buckley was skeptic of the Salem witch trials, which speaks from Massachusetts to Connecticut in 1692, it seems likely the trials were the focus of his text. I could go on. Oh, only one more paragraph. While it is socially inappropriate, as we're seeing today, in most circles to speak ill of a person in the immediate aftermath of their death, fortunately, this belief does not hold sway for the long term. Or otherwise, to take an extreme example, we would have no recorded history at all, facts. Because that's my question, how are you going to tell what actually happened? Putting aside public figures, while modern day psychologists would likely agree that there comes a point when it is best to put somebody in hiding because they are dangerous to the community, most psychologists agree that there is no such point. But they agree that it's important not to whitewash, but certainly can continue to do so mentally. And we see a lot of information on those who pass unfavorably in the Bible. And if the thought was not to speak ill or show anybody's sins or iniquity, we wouldn't have no text, right? So I like what the person said here in the end, that it's not reasonable not to record or to what happened, because then we will not be accurately depicting history. So for those who just came in, welcome to the conversation. I read the pastor's thing, I'll read it again, but he's calling on moral authority and all of these things, and alluding to the thought that this is coming from the Bible, but in actuality is coming from Greek philosophers. You could definitely get the link and look at this at your own discretion. Let me come and read what you have to say so far before I proceed, eh? Let's see here. That was a lot. That was a mouthful. Let's see. Do. All right, we got over the internet issue. We're back. We gotta be real. The majority of people celebrate as if he would physically delete someone are the degenerate, goofy clowns. Like I said, people have opened their mouth when it was. Basically, do not tell the right. They don't want you to tell the truth. That's is real. Most likely, Christians and oral tradition believing the dead will haunt them if they do so, because most Christian believes in immortal soul, which is not correct biblical doctrine at all. Kevin did not omit name. These goofy people are completely overreacting. I mean, again, some may say they're overreacting. The question is, are they entitled to their reaction? You understand what I'm saying? India said them Greeks was wicked. Are they entitled to their reaction? If somebody's entitled to their reaction, how then can we go and issue a whole decree to all black people, especially black women, and tell them you're not entitled to your reaction? I think that's kind of OD, right? The Grecian Gnostic philosophers, yeah. So that's what we concluded, that this is a tradition, because we see many a times throughout the text that if somebody was considered the enemy, or somebody and somebody triumphed over the enemy, oftentimes, like I said, there were songs, poems, stanzas, all type of things written to commemorate that, right? So I saw one man and another crazy thing is that aging is not valued in culture. Upset about the fact that Vivica Fox said something about his passing. And from what I heard, she basically just said it was karma. And the way he quote read her, as they say on the internet, I was like, Why he called her an old heifer, all of these. I said, but what does this have to do with, so somebody says something you don't like, as it relates to a topic, and then you feel justified in wholly defacing them. There's no disrespect in that. There's no disrespect in that. There's no disrespect in that. How to disrespect me. Now, if you look at the January 6th trials, what they're trying to hold people on is promoting insurrection, encourage people and gas them up to go and storm the Capitol, X, Y, and Z. The people didn't even do those things, but they're saying that if you were out here propagandizing and doing all people with your words and gathering all of this support to do something to a go on, where were the people who have an objective? I was responding to what the pastor said. I said that a number of times. So let's go back to what the pastor said. I think in sequence of events, and I'm biblically based. So if this is a pastor who's appealing to moral authority to say that this thing is wicked, something being wicked has to be determined by some type of universal law. So if you're going to refer to a law, then we need to know what it is. If somebody said you broke the law, then the next question is what's the law that they broke? So I was responding to this right here. NBCI wants to send a stern moral warning to all Black people, especially Black women, who are disrespecting Mr. Kevin Samuels on his untimely death. It is both wrong and ill of the dead. I was right here. So it is both wrong and evil. So, okay, if it's both wrong and evil, where are you getting that it is wrong and evil to speak ill of the dead? And is noting what the dead did in times past evil? Because if it is, that means that what the person did was evil. How could you speak evil? If you're speaking evil wrongfully, is one thing. But if you're recounting what the person actually said and did, then the evil you speak of is the deeds of the person. Then I proceeded to go over the verses that support the fact that you're going to have a split of opinion based on how you saw this person. The righteous is going to rejoice, but somebody who thinks that they're wicked, they're going to be shouting in the streets. Why? Because they think that somebody who was oppressing them, somebody who was doing XYZ to them is no longer there to do it. Am I saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent? No, I'm saying to a certain degree is a level of human behavior that we need to stop pretending and capping, as they say, that oh, you don't have a right to acknowledge that. Again, I'm not saying that people should be throwing parties and carrying on and doing none of that stuff. I haven't seen that part yet. If y'all have seen people like throwing parties and making cakes and going to Party City, let me know, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? So that's what I was responding to. So let me continue. There was one more video that I had to play. This is all the history books would have been destroyed because we can't talk about it, right? And to this day, people, our people especially, don't even want to talk about slavery. That I've known that for a fact. I've talked about it. They say, why you been on YouTube so long and your channel ain't blown up like some of these people? Because the topics that I talk about and have spoken about, they are not valued in the community. I know that for a fact. Like I said, I came into YouTube the same time Cynthia G came into YouTube. We were on the same platform, which is Boyce Watkins' platform. She went one way, I went another way, right? She chose to go to an area that people are going to pay attention to, and they're going to be triggered on and on. And even when I was sharing videos on Boyce Watkins' platform, I was talking about healing. I was talking about all the stuff I'm still talking about, and we can see what the people want. And sometimes maybe I go away and come back because I refuse to placate to audiences to give them what they want to hear to condemn my own soul. I don't think so. I'm not going to speak against my own moral fiber and my own soul for YouTube views and click, be it Kevin, Cynthia, Tommy Sotomayor, whoever. If you come to the mic every day, for those who make it every day, every other day, whatever, and the only Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Right? Out of the abundance of the heart speaks. Therefore, that stuff has to live in your heart. It's going to affect you on a daily basis because you got to go around digging up negative news stories and digging up all of these things to bring to the people to wow them for their next thing. I'm not down with that. For what? Money can't buy back my peace, nation. So my point being, now y'all made me forget my point. Now maybe I made myself forget the point. So I'll jump up this way. My point being, for people acting like this was righteousness, the way it affected people and the things that we can clearly see, it wasn't righteousness. And even if it started off with the right intention, the way it says the road to hell is paved with good intentions, we are have to be honest about this because if not, then we're going to continue to allow said type of people to rise up to notoriety and then lord over the people. It's wrong. It's wrong. Um, boo, 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 boo. Now I didn't say none of that. So the reason I brought up the Greeks is because I like to know the core of some issues. People like to say things and it's very vague, and you're supposed to believe it because they said it. No, where did this say that you cannot speak ill, quote unquote, or you cannot reference the things that the person who passed away? I'm not saying that you're supposed to curse them or none of that stuff. But to be honest about what the person, who the person really was, we owe that to society. We owe that to ourselves, right? Sorry. So let's go to them. Let me see what's up. Everyone is entitled to their opinion of him based he displayed. That's correct. I agree with India. People are trying to take away. I think not what's his name? Marlon Wayans came out. All of these different people. Because as long as they're speaking the truth, no, I didn't have that thought process. Oh, you wicked and you evil and and you're this and that and you an old heifer and none of that stuff. I'm like, who? And I'm only talking about on him. I had to listen to what this guy was saying. This is how I came to my conclusion. And when I was done, I left it alone. So John said, cut to the chase. What evil thing did he advocate for? Oh, plenty. Plenty. We know he didn't die a child of God, according to what the pastor said. We know that, if we can be honest. And even when I ask direct questions to how the man passed, the conditions under which he passed, everybody wants to jump all over it. How does the word differ in the subject of KS? Because they called him the Godfather, because they kind of prop him up as a quote unquote demigod, and so they actually gave him this title. And so the way that they're responding is as if a God, he was their deity, and that he now needs you to come to their defense. I'm breaking up badly again. Let me know if I'm breaking up badly again. I'm inside. It must be the wind. It's a windy day today. But Wi-Fi. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know if it's still breaking up. I'm inside, y'all. Y'all know how I like my vitamin D. I'm outside. I'm inside for you guys under fluorescent lights. So let me know if you can still hear me. All right. So we learned something. What did we learn today? That saying is not in the Bible. If it is, and if I missed it, let me know. Chapter verse. We heard that this later on in 1617, all of the stuff that the people had, because clearly they was going in. We have a what's this right here? show you some of his comedy, and then show you the torture it's having to do. Everybody is acting crazy. Let me know if I could be heard. I was over here trying to get the next link. Okay, here he is. He's a comedian. So let me see if I can get some of his skits first. Show you what he said. No, no, no. Let me finish what I'm doing. No, you can. Hold on. Let me see if I could get some of his skits. One of his skits at least. You guys, I'm still on live. And this is another reason why I don't do it inside, because a lot of chitter chatter. Let me just do this right here. Here. He's about to help me out, get my life together. You're funny. Hey, I can't control Wi-Fi. I don't work at the. So this comedian is addressing.
As a society, people are asking me what's going to happen with Dr. Devin. I didn't know Kevin Samuels at all. We never met. I'm not connected to him at all. I'm an entertainer, and I do a bunch of different characters and impressions. I never directly called him Kevin Samuels. When I put stock impressions, because Kevin Samuels was such a controversial person, the controversy now bled over into my comedy presentation of Dr. Devin. The reason I changed the name there, it became a character I have been doing for about 10 years already. Hey y'all, Taylor Brock, aka boom, haircut so much.
The internet is kind of janky today. You guys, hold on. The internet is rather janky today. I don't know. It's not flickering, but it's cutting off. Let me finish that little clip right there so we can. Let me put if anybody wants to come up and share their thoughts really quickly, although it's tripping today. That's the link in the box. Let's share it again. Let's see if it comes up. So this guy is saying he used to do a Devon, and I have to come look for it. But he used to do a Dr. Devon, and so the people hit him up in the supporters hit him up in the inbox to make a request.
Hey, Fontaine, huh? Fontaine, we can need something.
You see me at a party and Michael Jackson comes on, I still do Michael Jackson dance impressions. So just because someone passes away does not mean that I'm not entitled to interpret them however I feel fit. Stop DMing me trying to tell me how I should be proceeding with anything. My art will continue however I see fit.
So let me rewind that a little bit. He said for them to stop DMing him. What is really going on? Are they advocating for their children education this way? Are you advocating for fathers' rights in your own community this way? Are you advocating for abuse against a woman to stop in your community this way? Are you advocating for the homeless in the way that you're advocating for somebody, a comedian, to stop making jokes? I'm quite sure there's a lot of things you could be advocating for. Let's hear that last part again.
Dr. Maya Angelou. You see me at a party and Michael Jackson comes on, I still do Michael Jackson dance impressions. So just because someone passes away does not mean that I'm not entitled to interpret them however I feel fit. Stop DMing me trying to tell me how I should be proceeding with anything. My art will continue however I see fit.
He said, stop DMing me. What is really going on? I'm confused. So the deification, I was asked where it is for somebody to be advocating in this way, to feel the need to show up and attack people, right? No one can say anything. There is, I realized that early on when I didn't know anything about the person, right? I didn't know anything, and it came across my plate, and I observed, and all I did was say something in passing because at this time it was a sleeper cell. You feel me? I didn't know. I said something in passing, and people who I've known for years uh popped out the woodworks and started like verbally. If I could pull up that post so you guys could see that I am not yeasting right now. Hold on. And that let me know that something else is going on, something not so above board. You know what I'm saying? Something that had the people's attention, and it was divisive because, like I said, it was something that. Hold on. So that's why I started to do the series of videos that I did because I realized at this point, this is not too kosher. This is not too kosher. Hold on, let me see. I don't know. I would have to go back looking for that first just a by the way post that I made. It was just by the way, like, oh, that dude is a little bit suspect. Oh, and I was just talking about the philosophy. Huh? Who told me to say that? Who told me to say that? The people were biting at the bits. They were mad. Oh, here it is. I found it because I don't like misleading people. That's one thing I don't like. So here, let me show you. I found it so that I'm not yeasting here. And these were people on my list. It wasn't like random strangers. It was people that you see their children growing up. You see all of this stuff like this. Here's the post right here. This was when? April 25th, 2021. This is when I found out. April 25th, I said, hey, all I said was this Kevin Samuels dude is suspect. I can't. And that was from me listening to what he was saying because I started seeing people putting up memes and stuff. So I was like, well, what's this? And 252 comments later, I realized that this was division, right? So my point being, you know, it's something that we need to talk about. How can we pretend that people's households have not fallen apart based on some of these doctrines? How could we pretend that people weren't injured? He said, what did he do? There were people who were injured. There was the families that fall apart. There were divorces that were initiated. There was all type of stuff that happened as a result of his doctrines. How can we pretend that? And his doctrines are not just him alone. It's part of a bigger issue. But to pretend that that's not the case, let's not and say we did. Now let me read some of these comments and then I'm gonna roll on out. Deborah said, I don't know, Deborah, we keep rolling. It's okay. The message will continue. You asked, dodge the question. What I asked her, she did what she mostly did. I didn't dodge no question. I didn't dodge no question. I answered the question. I told you who I was responding to. I'm not sure if you listen to hear or if you listen to just confirm you're already biased. I already answered the question. It's not biblical. He pulled on moral. He leaned towards morality, that this is means you're wicked. I don't want to misquote him because unlike John, I don't like misquoting people. So let me go to what the pastor said again. The pastor said, he's a pastor, which would lead one to believe that he uses the Bible to support his doctrine. He says it's wrong and evil to speak ill of the dead, right? So then where is this wrong and evil coming from? One would assume he's a pastor, and this is the National Black Church Initiative. That would mean Reverend Anthony Evans is talking about the Bible. So then we have to look in the Bible. And when we look in the Bible, unless I'm wrong, I have not seen that. But that concept does come from Greek philosophers. And that's the reason why I brought that out. I think I was very clear in the way I broke it down, but yeah, India, advocacy could be something really on the other side for people who really need you to advocate for. I was listening to the broadcast yesterday, and the guy was like, children are advocated for and women are advocated for, but who advocates for men? I'm like, and the people were like, who protects men? No, actually, he didn't say advocate. My apologies. He said, who protects men? Who protects men? So it's like men protect men, as we see. I showed you a little clip of the documentary. There was a system where men are protecting men, and they're supposed to be protecting the vulnerable population, but in some spaces they're feeding off of the vulnerable population, attacking the vulnerable population, and protecting themselves from judgment. I'm not saying all, but from what we're seeing even right now, it's crazy. I'm like, what in the world, grown men doing all this in these streets? Anyway, yeah, like you said, truthful perspective, something to consider. LF won a timestamp. Y'all lost me. I don't even know what's going on. Um, I said that's another conversation for another day. What you like to do is derail the conversation. I think the topic says we don't talk about Kevin Samuels, that or KS. That was in the title, right? Let me go back and look at the actual title because it's titled that way for a reason. If we jump everywhere and nowhere, then the point is not made. I made the point. I put the title. I hit the points. If you have a question about something I just said concerning what I said I was going to say, then let me know. Because then what you're talking about is me digging. I already did those videos. You want to see the videos? You want to see the videos that I already did on where I have issues with what he actually said? Let's go over there together, shall we? Let's go over there. I have a little playlist. Sometimes I don't know how much we like I said, because I'm not over here stunting and doing all kind of extra stuff. I just like to put my work in. Whoever the Most High allows to hear and see, they hear and see, right? But I don't like to take myself down the wrong path to please people. That don't work for me. But I say that to say I put it on record. Let me go over here. Come on, come with me. Not like Tupac though. Come with me. Hold on. Okay, here you guys are. This is this. Then we're gonna share. We're gonna share the screen. Then we're gonna share the audio. Then we're gonna jump over here. If you simply put Imuna Yisrael, if you're on the channel, and you click on the channel, first of all, a lot of work has been put in. But like I said, some people they don't want work, they don't want answers, they don't want those type of things. If you click on playlists, You're asking me something that I've spoke about a million times. And then you click on understanding Kevin Samuels. And you click on that. I didn't name it anything disrespectful. I didn't say it was, dude, are you vaping on this thing? What in the world? Is this what they doing on YouTube now? Anyway, if you come to the playlist that I constructed, respectfully naming it Understanding Kevin Samuels, not exposing, and I did this when the man was alive back in April of last year. The Kevin Samuels effect, simping or pimping. The worst treated women, the more they liked it. I was cute, broke, and spoiled by a bunch of women. Kevin Samuels disgusted by his own body count. And would you okay, this is some other videos got in here. If she stays, it's because she wants to get peed on. Out here promoting domestic discipline. Oh, toning arms are not supposed to be in there. But if somebody's trying to get exercise, they could go ahead and tone their arms too. The Kevin Samuels Defense Squad. And this was the issue when the sister Goldie came out with a petition. And when she petitioned against the channel because of the things that he was saying and the effects, and the people attacked her. So there's a record of all of this. I'm not sure what particular thing you want to hear, but if it's right here, John, if you want to hear my thoughts and you want to hear it succinctly and you want to see what he said about himself, just hop on over here. It's already here. Hopefully that answers the question. With that said, do. Hopefully I'm not breaking up. So with that said, that's what I have to say on the matter. Hopefully people find their resolution. This goes beyond any individual. Whatever we allow, whatever doctrines we allow, whether it be women's sphere, man's sphere, pink, blue, green pill, me no business awa. And by the way, I go on and I go make me start chat patwatuno. I go start chat patwatuno because this thing is maddening. How can you follow blind, lead the blind? Everybody drops in the pit, right? Following these doctrines of people who have not healed their own selves and redirecting you into their childhood trauma, things that they couldn't fix themselves for themselves. They're going to fix it for you. How that works? How does it work? How did it work? The signal good? Yeah, I think it must be outside because I'm right by it. So it's very extreme. People are willing to attack one another. If you're willing to attack one another like red and blue, like north and south, like Republican and Democrat, something is wrong, especially over relationship conversation where you're being told that if someone has a child, then you shouldn't be a father to the fatherless. Huh? You shouldn't because that person doesn't fit the mold. At the same time, I mean, it's madness. It's double speak. It's double speak. Okay? It's double speak. As a matter of fact, just because I want to just calm down before I ride out. Okay? We're gonna see a short one. We're gonna see one short one, and this is for John. Let's revisit a short video. It's not that long. I'm gonna let it play so there won't be no copyright strike because it's my own video. Okay? Let's see what I said a year ago about what we are experiencing now. All right. Let's do this one. The worst I treated women. I didn't hear the pastor come out for this one.
Breaking news.
Live once again. Greetings and welcome back. For those who have just joined us, this is Imuna, and this is a new series, Noteworthy, where I do reaction videos and take notes and share my thoughts. Because a lot of times I come to you guys and I already formulated my thoughts, so I'm going to show you the process of how I do it. So this is the third in the series of Understanding Kevin Samuels. And listen, what in all of Yana Fix My Life is going on? This stuff is getting interesting. It is getting interesting. If you missed the other 2 episodes, feel free to go click them and catch up. But right now, he is bringing us to the point where the first heartbreak happens and because he has no one to help him through that rough patch, he's now beginning to patchwork and formulate his theories about how women operate based on his childhood experience. So we are going to pick it up there, and this is getting good.
But I didn't care no more. So she called me and I wouldn't answer the phone, or I'd talk to her and I'd just blow her off. I learned something right here. This is almost like a laboratory experiment, because I'm a strategic-minded person, technical-minded person. I start putting this stuff through scientific process. If nice got me bad behavior, bad seemed to get me good behavior. So I started being more bad. Here's what I learned. The worse I treated women, the more they liked me. Now let me make the caveat.
Before we get to the caveat, let's go ahead and flip our page here. So before we learn if nice behavior got me bad, then bad behavior got me good. And the worse I treated women, this is what he's saying. So for those who are like, oh, he's the truth, he's the truth, he's the truth, we need to see where this truth is coming from. So he said he learned during his social science experiment that the worse he treated women is the more they liked me. That's what he says. So what we're looking at is a level of, if it's a social experiment, it's a level of manipulation that I'm going to withhold so that I'm not going to go ahead of myself. Let's just continue. Let's hear the caveat.
It was called worse. What it really was is I was treating women like a man treats a woman. That's what I was doing.
Pause. He says it was called worse. So here goes the justification. That's justification. He was treating women like a man treats a woman. This is the point he's arrived to. This is the understanding. There's a problem. Based on your testimony, there weren't any men around that actually could model for you how to treat a woman, because your grandfather, you don't speak much of him. Your uncle was Mac and your father was a player. So what men are you referring to? Right? So he concludes that now that he gets to no longer simp, so withhold your emotions and your feelings, and you let them chase you and you mistreat them or behave badly, that's how a man treats a woman. So here we go. This is the thought process, and it explains a lot of what we're hearing of the advice that's given to men on how to treat women. Let's continue.
Being a simp. I was standing up. I was saying what I wanted. Was not making any qualifying statements. Not beating around the bush. It was my way or the highway. You lucky to be around me. This is what I want out of the world. Next thing you know, she became everything I ever wanted her to be in a girlfriend.
All of that in 10th grade?
After I started being a jerk to her.
After you started being a jerk.
Intelligent, and arrogant. That's what I was told. It was cocky, intelligent, arrogant. So I got these battling things going on inside me. So here's what ends up happening. We go on a band trip. I smash.
I want to pause because yesterday the question was asked, was he cruel? He, with his own admission, is saying the more that he was a jerk, the more that he mistreated. So he was cruel, and he was aware that he was being cruel. I don't know why we're making pretend like we're in the second grade that the person who, with his own admission, said that this is what he was doing, and he was aware. He's a technically minded person. He was cognizant that this is what he was doing. But the supporters, those who want to back what it is he's saying, are out here caping. I mean, hard with the Superman cape on. Superman cape. Pretending that the man was somebody else. Why do that? Why not just be honest? Hey, yeah, I'm gonna treat you bad. And what? Instead of say, this is gaslighting. No, I'm not treating you bad. I'm actually encouraging you to be a better person. No, you're treating this person bad and you know it. But let's continue for the sake of time.
Ash.
Pause. Remember, he said this is 10th grade. All that you wanted in a girlfriend, what was that? And now you're going on a band trip in the 10th grade. How old are we now? 15? About 15, going 16 years old? If that. And now, what did you want? Now you smashed? Smash meaning you laid with someone's daughter, a young woman in high school. You smashed because you started treating her like a jerk. So the question is, what type of girl were you attracted to in the beginning, in the first place? So let's continue.
I still don't want to deal with her. I mean, I smash her, and I'm like, okay, well, I put this chick up on the pedestal, right? And she didn't want to have nothing to do with me. When I started treating her bad, like I was told was bad, put a caveat there. All of a sudden, she wanted to get with me. I smashed. And then, but here's what happened. After I smashed, guess what? She smashed the dude I was rooming with. So I saw right there, full force, female nature. I'm like,
do you see how he gets to these hasty generalizations and these hasty conclusions? So far, a lot of his premise, a lot of his understanding is built on logical fallacies. You are dealing with one situation and with different variables, but now you're going to come to a hasty generalization and conclude, I saw right there such and such and such and such. Now he's about to sum it up and begin to build his understanding build his life philosophy off of this experience with this particular young girl. Yeah, listen now. And the young lady, Smash, I'm trying to get this right. I don't want to make this long, but I got questions. So you liked her. She dumped you. The following time you guys come back, you are over her after she broke your heart, over her, and then start treating her like a jerk, and then she wants you. But how did she want you if when she got you, she slept with your friend? That to me is some missing pieces in that story, but we're going to continue.
I put you up on a pedestal, treated you like a queen and a goddess, whatever. Here's how you treated me. I treat you like a...
If you're thinking about buying solar panels, don't. The U.S. government will literally buy them for you.
Badly. You falling all over me, telling me everything I want, let me smash. Then you let this dude smash. Right then I learned, women, what I was taught was wrong. Women do not want nice guys. What we've been taught is nice.
That goes to what, so he was taught the right thing in the beginning. I read the portion in Ezekiel that talks about somebody who leaves from their righteousness and does wickedness. In the beginning, he knew the right thing to do. He knew how to behave, how to conduct himself, but it wasn't getting him, quote unquote, his desired result. So he decided now to adhere to things that were wrong. So if you leave from wickedness and die in your sin and iniquity, what are we talking about with these pearly gate memes? We refuse to acknowledge what's right before us, but I'll continue for the sake of time.
Women want strong, secure, assertive men who know what they want. We have been told all our lives that this stuff is bad, and it's not. And you see even our young boys in school on Ritalin and all these other kind of drugs to really tamp down male behavior.
Okay, you see how you came to a conclusion here. Because this woman let you smash after you treat her bad and then got with your friends, then you concluded over here that women don't want nice guys. What kind of women? High school women? Women who've been what type of women don't want? And then you confuse being assertive. Cocky is different from being assertive. Knowing what you want and having direction is different from being arrogant. And so these things, because they're not modeled and they weren't modeled in his space, it's all convoluted, right? You can be assertive as a man, and you can know what you want without being disrespectful. There's a difference, but I'll continue. This is just getting good.
Don't go too far off into that. But I would just say this. I recorded a video today that I'm still wondering if I need to put it out on YouTube, because talk about men stuff can get you in a lot of trouble, but we ain't worried about that now. I'm talking to the guys who want to learn how to get the women you want. First thing you need to do is understand everything you've ever been taught is wrong. Women like jerks. What they're called jerks. Donald Trump is our president.
See? You see? You see how we get to this place? Everything you've been taught is wrong, and you listen to hear what he's saying, how to get the woman you want. Sometimes the woman you want is not the woman that you're supposed to have. There are some men who are attracted to the wrong type of woman. In the same way, there are some women who are attracted to the wrong type of men. Case in point, since he said he grew up Baptist, biblically, Samson was attracted to the wrong type of woman. So he could do a little science experiment and say, socially engineer that, if women come from over here, it means that they are going to be, Delilah, and they're going to try to cut my hair, because that was his experience. But we're forgetting that when he was warned that, listen, that's not the type of woman that you're supposed to be with, he did not heed that warning. So the question is, what type of woman was Kevin, or at that time, later on he becomes Hovind, what type of woman is he looking for? And are you that type of person that attracts the type of woman that you're looking for? If you're leading with certain things, you're only going to attract to you certain type of people. But we're going to go on, because I don't want this video to go too long.
You can like him or dislike him, whatever you. But a significant portion of the country voted for him, and a lot of women. Women like that kind of behavior.
That's not true. Say
it
something.
Is hard for a lot of, if you were born after 1970, that is hard to accept, because we were raised in a generation of equal rights. But you gotta learn it. But at least for me and a lot of other guys, we got a chance to do some infield experiments on this stuff. So when I went to high school, when I went to college.
Wait, pause. So this, for those who just joined us, welcome to the conversation. This is the unfiltered version of him. This is you going behind the machinery, under the hood, to see what later on became the persona. Because as you can see here, he wasn't in the dark room with the shades, drinking Red Bull out the glass. This is what comes before. This is when he fully embodies this persona of KS, that he's using all of these principles that he gathered from earlier on into his life and became the embodiment of this type of person. But I really want to read Proverbs for all those who say, well, what did he do wrong? Since he says he knew to do the right and he chose to do the wrong. Proverbs 18 says, before destruction, a man's heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. He's telling you, be arrogant, be a jerk, basically be haughty, be full of yourself, operate in hubris. This is what he's telling people to get someone that who can't resist this type of behavior. How in the world is this showing you the right way? But I'll let him talk, because
I'll just let it all hang out. I had a girlfriend in high school who I turned around and simped for. So you was either simping or pimping. It was either one or the other. I went to college, and man, I was the biggest hoe on campus. They used to call me Hovind.
Hovind.
I find it hard not to stop. Did y'all hear that? This is not a Muna. Don't speak ill of the dead. This is nothing people have to make up. The person said that of themselves, and he never stopped hoeing. He never stopped hoeing. He never stopped hoeing, y'all. At the end, he was still hoeing. Okay, he was hoeing. But let me continue.
Hoven.
Check out this verbo.
Oh man,
Michael, they're your cousins.
Why? Because he got all the hoes. Chicks that I would smash, and I was a dog. I was a player. I would tell her, look here, I'm not into no relationship. I ain't looking for no girlfriend. I just want to have some fun. If you're ready to do that, cool. If not, you need to go ahead and bounce. Here's what ended up happening. They'd want to come over to my room for tutoring. So I tutor them. I tutored the hell out of them.
Hold on, Amuna. Hold on. Let me get in there real quick. You heard what he said? I want you to know, because that was the end. People, look at the end of the matter. Hold to the end. Hold to the end. H to the Izzo. Hold to the Izen. Hold to the Izen. He was consistent in the hollering. Okay? That's how he said peace out. I'm trying to figure out, why are we making him pass the holy? Why? Why are we doing this? Don't lie to the children.
he's at this time he's speaking to a lot of men. So he talks about earlier not growing up with a lot of men, not interacting a lot with boys. So in these beginning videos, you can see him, this is guy locker room barbershop talk, so that they can rate you like, yo, it was a gallus, like Jamaican, like he's a gallus, and he's trading these stories, tutoring, women and letting them know that he's a player. Where did we hear this language from before? His uncle. So he's now taking this type of behavior to protect them against simping and being hurt again like he was, right? So I'm going to just play a little bit more because this is very, very, very fascinating. I'm playing a little bit more.
Then what would happen? They would go back and tell their friends. He put it down. Guess what? Their friends would want to come by too. Yes, women. Women like sex. They like it more than we do. That's a video for another day. But a lot of the stuff men have been told was wrong. Nice guys finish last. I've been a nice guy. Every time I was a nice guy, I finished beyond last. I never even finished. When I was just a guy who just said, forget it, I'm going to just be this. I'm going to just be a jerk, a cocky, intelligent, arrogant, or when I was a CIA, the most success I've ever had with women. And that has been consistent from teenage to now. Right now.
So the most success he's had with women, success equals being able to lay with them, being able to defile them. The most success that he's had, because remember his definition of success is when he was a jerk. So again, he's telling us his aim, he's telling us his method, he's telling us his reasoning. And then he tells us that he's kind of battled at a certain point to say, well, it's like the person who says, I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to X, Y, and Z. And they're like, this is not working. So they sell drugs. The most success I've had is when you go and you sell because X, Y, and Z. So we always give ourselves reasons for doing things that we know we shouldn't be doing, but the other way is not working. It's the psychology of the mind. So we're going to come back because now that he's told us the layout, now that he told us he went to get higher education and in womenology, and he went to school and became, in his own words, a hoeing and picking up all of these girls, these young women, right? And apparently you have to be attracting the same type of woman to say, I don't want anything. I don't want any relationship. I just want to lay with you. Not every woman is going to go for that. So you begin to attract a certain type of woman that reaffirms your thought process. So we're going to see a little bit more. We're going to see where this story takes us. He is laying it all bare. So with that said,
that's what I got for today. There's more. Let me know if you guys was enjoying that, because sometimes we need a little refresher. People tend to forget. They never change course. It is what it is. It took a lot of people with them. Right? It took a lot of people with them, with the doctrines, right? With the information, the disinformation affected 11 lives. It's like if you have a quack doctor out here prescribing crazy medication, then people getting hurt behind it. Eventually, you have to do an exam. You have to look in, investigate who this person is and what they're doing, because they're affecting other people. It's not like they have this philosophy and they're in their own little cubby hole. No, they have this philosophy and they crawl to the top of the highest point that they can, and they yell it out to the people. Hey, this is what I think. Call me, come on to me. There's a scripture in Proverbs that talk about wisdom and folly setting their table and calling out the people to come. And the people come to folly's table and sit down and dine and think it's all good. They're loud, they're entertaining. The people come, they sit, and they consume, and then they take it out and contaminate the rest of the people. So that I don't have to talk about this again, because hopefully I don't have to talk about this again, and we could go and talk about 90 Day Fiance, because I got some questions. I'm going to just play the next one. I'm just play one more, and then I won't have to talk about this again, hopefully, because at which point, it is what it is. People going to do what they want to do. Wait. Let me see after. So he said the worst he treated people. We see that he had an indifference. Oh yeah, let me get this one right here. He was spoiled, only child. His mother did the best she could, and he was indifferent for whatever reason. May have felt that somebody owed him something. Who knows? But whatever it is, you clearly don't see a love there. So let me get this one with where did all of that hoving behavior get him? Right? When he was hoving in, where did it get him? That's not me saying that. That's him saying that. I like people in their own words. That's what he said he was doing. So this is him disgusted by his own body count.
Welcome back once again. It is Imuna, and this is Noteworthy. React with a Purpose. This is another installment of Understanding Kevin Samuels. Now, I know another video, yes, because I need to understand before I can make commentary on just the advice that's being given. I need to understand the nature of the person. So if you have just joined us, we have other videos. I'm going to link them in the description below. On this topic, we learned that a little bit about his upbringing, the things he said about himself, his first love, his first heartbreak, and now we are here. He's in the car, I'm in the car, he in black, I'm in black. You know what I'm saying? So, we vibing. So now we're going with it while he was talking to the brothers a couple of years ago on a video called Why Men Simp. And so I think this is important because he often asks women about their body count. So we're going to hear a bit about his body count. Let's listen.
Story after story after story. But let me just say this. Because we are guys, let's just throw some numbers up here. Not to brag about anything, but by the time a guy reaches his mid-30s is when he really starts to understand what it means to be a man. By the time you reach 40, you really become a completely different person. You become a whole man. You know how to get stuff done. You know who you are. You're self-actualized. So in your teens and 20s, a lot of guys, we're about getting laid and making money. And it's easier to get laid to make money, so we keep score by stuff.
Wait, pause. So, okay, he told them about the 30s and 40s and teens and 20s. He says it's about getting laid and getting money. And it's easier to get laid during that time than it is to get money. And so they keep count. Let me see. They keep score. Keep score. Okay. Let's keep going.
Went through that phase where, we had competitions to see who could score the most women. And, when you start getting up over, when you start having numbers in the triple digits, on one side, I was taught to be proud of that, but on the other side, I felt kind of...
Wait, pause. Don't blink. Don't blink, because you'll miss it. He said they used to keep score, and they used to have competitions. Brothers, let us know if you had competitions in the description below. And then he says when you start getting numbers in the triple digits. Triple digits. Like ones, tens, hundreds place. Ones, tens, hundreds place. Like hundreds. Numbers up towards 100 or more women that as a man, okay. So he says on one hand he started to feel bad. Let's just continue here.
It's like, that's disgusting. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I just lived life. No one told me to be ashamed of it. It was the way I was raised and programmed by the world. You got to be a nice guy. You got to do the right thing. You got to put everybody's needs ahead of your own. Every single relationship I've had, and I haven't had a lot. I've had a lot of women. Trust me, I've had a lot of women. I got some stories that I simply will not tell on YouTube. I've lived a broad life. I've done some. Yeah, I don't have a bucket list. Let's just put it that way. I don't do none of that homo stuff though. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But I don't do that. But the thing is,
pause. This one is not going to be long. I just wanted to get that nugget that nugget. Remember, he spoke about before, he has this, like he calling it dichotomy, these two different thought processes. You were brought up Baptist, you were brought up with your mother and her, please forgive the noise in the background, the interrupting, but you brought up in a space where you had a conscience, okay? And then in the other place you were hurt, and you have your absentee father or your present uncle who's giving you a bad idea. So in the mind, there's a battle about what's right, but how it makes me feel, and what's wrong. So we just saw him justify. He said, on one hand, you thought that's disgusting. That's what I thought. Like 100 people plus. That means that there's something else going on there, right? Besides just you like to do this thing. There's some type of void that as a man, or even as a woman, but in this case as a man, that you're going to allow yourself, you're going to give yourself, you're going to extend your energies to over 100 different people. That I'm just going to let that float for a little bit. And then on the other hand, I should have put but on the other hand, he had to make himself, because that thought makes you feel uncomfortable. If that's you, thinking on that thought is going to make you feel depressed, or it's going to make you feel disgusting, or it's going to make you self-loathe, right? If we have come into that point, hold on, right? So we had to say, nah, I have to reason, I have to justify. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just living my life. I'm reading my notes so I don't make up any other words. There's nothing for me to be ashamed of. I'm just living a full, broad life. Do you see how that worked? If I held myself accountable, then I would have to admit that there's something wrong here. This can't be right. This is emptying myself and emptying my soul, and not really finding anyone that I can connect with, do I feel safe with, that I feel vulnerable in. So yeah, basically there may be some people out there like Mamuna, that's it's a modern world. But this conversation of modern world and the expectations and the fallout from our behavior, I think, is one that needs to be had. Because someone who's coming from this perspective, someone who's justified their behavior to not think to be ashamed of and just living life, they're going to advise other people to do the same, so that more and more people can be in the same boat. Let that simmer just for a little bit.
Well, I'm doing my own job for myself. Let me come read some of these comments. That's simmering. So we see that the person was empty. The soul was vacant. You can't extend yourself. Let's say if he was telling the truth, because some people like, I'm only lying. Let's say if he was telling the truth, that soul becomes void. Okay? Because you're doing something that's in vanity, and you keep emptying yourself, and there's no reciprocation. It doesn't come back. Before the person passed, they talk about they wanted a 1099 girlfriend, somebody who they can bring in contractually and see whether or not their contract can what do you call it? Their contract could renew in 3 to 6 months. This is not somebody who valued human beings. When you talk the way you talk, when you speak the way you speak, if you connect on a real soul level with other people, you cannot commodify them to, oh, you 6 figures means X, Y, and Z, and this means that. You commodifying people, right? So I don't know if we can hear the things that the people said, and not only them, because it's just one person, but when they espouse this information to all of these other people, it's not just one person anymore. It may be somebody who's looking for a mate, and the well has been poisoned. So when you go now and your people are trying to work together and court, all of these things are coming up. All of these things, and I've heard women say, all of these things are coming up that makes it impossible to form these strong families. Why? Because you have all of this muddied waters to move through. The similar thing happened in the 60s. There was a reviving of what does they call it again? What's the name of it again? The angel in the house concept. That's what they called it in the late 1800s, right? There was a whole thought process where they started writing books. This is where you see the information like Leave It to Beaver, all the things that revived Man of Steel, all of this information that came back that they started pushing through the media, it recycled itself from an earlier date. Let me see here. I'm a wind down. I'm a wind down, y'all. I'm a wind down. Okay, let me rewind here. Let me see what some people are saying. Yeah, I think India's comment is important that he made. Let me stop this thing here. For those who just joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome. He became a jerk and people put him on a pedestal for that. We have to then look at the tastes and desires of the people. Because like you said, he was aware, and he was aware that he wasn't making any headway with being the good guy. So he became this caricature. He tapped into the part of him that was already there and became this person of what some would say ill repute. And to say that someone you get celebrated for that, something is wrong. You talk about celebrating the person's passing. How do you get celebrated for bad behavior? You get celebrated for being a gangster rapper. You only get celebrated if you're a musician or an athlete. You don't get celebrated if you're a quote unquote nerd in school. It's the people. It's the people. That's what I'm putting in. I submit, Your Honor, that it's the people. And now he like he said to somebody, if you're selling something that the market doesn't react to, what do you do? And if you really want to sell, then you change. But if you compromise yourself, then guess what? You are successful at the cost of your own soul. So, let's see here. We're not going to shift the blame. We're talking about one person right here, John. We're going to stay on topic. So his spirit was speaking to him and he ignored it. Yeah, pretty much. He continued down the path that he knew was off because why he was finally making the money that he wanted to make and getting the acknowledgement that he wanted. Maybe was he a Pookie and Ray Ray? Was he would he have been a Pookie and or a Ray Ray? I can't with Deborah. Deborah. Why did you say men who don't have kids are responsible for what Pookie and Ray Ray do? Huh? Where John be getting this stuff from? I can't right now. We've 1 hour 43 minutes in. I don't the link is in the box. Not only celebrated for bad behavior, but now we are not allowed to acknowledge. Yeah, Kane. So this is the total mind. This is mind Jedi mind tricks. Like you're saying, this is Jedi mind tricks, India. The person has bad behavior. They told you that they are fully aware that this behavior is bad. But they are now on a campaign to convince the people that this behavior is not bad. It's true and right and exact. The people who want to do and exhibit said type of behavior agree. I agree. This is not bad. It's actually good for you, right? This is what you should be doing. And then the people were like, wait a minute. No, he said it was bad. I know it's bad. They're like, no, no, no. Shh. Lest you become a wicked outcast, you dare not say that this behavior was bad. The person themselves said they knew they were being a jerk. They knew where they were being arrogant. They knew they were being cruel in certain situations. They said it themselves. Now we're over here to pretend that they didn't say what they said because it goes against our narrative. Somebody's playing games. Somebody's playing games. Somebody's playing games. It's like back in the day, they knew cigarettes were bad, but they had whole campaign to get people to smoke cigarettes. And then when it started jacking people up, they're like, oh, yeah, cigarettes are bad. Smoking can cause cancer. Now, yeah, they're still bad, but I'ma still sell it to you. At least they tell you it's bad, Surgeon General warning on the box, but I'ma still sell it to you. Versus it's not bad and you're wicked for saying so. Those are two different things. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But if you choose to do it, that's on you. People choose to do wrong things every day. People choose to do time. Let me get a time marker, John. Let me get a time marker. It's a Jedi mind trick, right? And so I don't have to talk about this topic one more time. Let's just play. I know if you got to go, I understand. But so that I don't have to talk about this topic no more. Hopefully. Because it is what it is at this point. You know, unless somebody directly has something to say, then I'll speak to it. But it is what it is at this point because I already put it on record how and what I ascertained from the things that the person already said. So you know, it is what it is at this point. So the last video I want to play was the last in That's Noteworthy series, of where I was going over the information about his early life. Wait, his early life and all this stuff like this. Yo, y'all don't know what I've been through having to go through all of these tapes, man. It was funny, but crazy, but not funny. But now I'm gonna stay on the stream. I'm gonna run this last video because again, people would have seen this. He never took this stuff down. He never took the older ones down. They were still up there. I mean, at last year's time, they were still up there for people to see. But when he started growing in notoriety, a lot of people didn't go back that far because they were well entertained with what he was doing, right? Hoo-hoo. Let me see here. This is the last one because I don't know if anybody got the time to see it. So I'll go over here and play it. Let's look at one more.
Yes. Greetings and welcome back once again. This is Imuna. Welcome to the channel for those who just joined us. And if you have been here time and time again, you don't know already. Welcome back. This is another episode of Noteworthy. I hope you're enjoying this series because I am enjoying this series, okay? I am learning so much. And if those of you who know, and if you don't know, I love learning. So we're back again with another one from Mr. Kevin Hovind Roshan Samuels, okay? And this conversation,
Let me just be honest. That little I found that funnier. I'm sorry. I was being a little bit petty when I kept putting it in there because that thing was funny to me. So y'all, like, why she keep doing it? I just thought it was funny. I'm gonna just say it from the jump so we have no questions. Let's continue.
this conversation, I'm sorry about that. Y'all see me beeping the horn? This conversation is going to be about what he had going on a few years ago as he was sharing his information within his growing audience. So this is the more unfiltered portion of him. And so we're going to go ahead and tune in and hear what he has to say.
It less than 7 seconds. Honestly, it takes 7 seconds to form confirmation bias. Here's the thing, guys. We got 37 people watching. I know a lot of this stuff is crazy, but the guys in there who have gone through this journey and have had this stuff happen, they'll back me up on it in the comment section. It's not popular, but it is what it is. If you want to be in a successful relationship with a woman, you have to take the dominant position, point blank, end of sentence, and you can never relinquish it. You have to stay on top. Period. Cannot let up. That does not mean you have to oppress her or whatever. You just got to know she's a woman, you're a man, you dominant, she's feminine. That's the way it has to be. And the thing is this,
wait a minute. If you notice with him, and I've noticed now that I'm listening, he senses himself when he knows he's about to say something that's too risque, especially earlier on when he was concerned that how this information was going to be received. So he's saying that you're dominant, she's submissive, and he stopped himself short of saying you're superior. Right. And when we're looking at this lens and we're looking at the mentality, all of the other stuff begins to make sense. And this is why we're going back so far. Somebody said, and what's your point? Like, if you can't watch honestly and objectively and see where someone's coming from and the foundation that they laid for what we're now experiencing, you know what I mean? I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. So basically, he's saying you have to stay on pot, basically always keep her in her place. This is what he's saying. Like I said, he stopped short of saying you're superior, and then he cut it. But we're gonna keep. I heard that though, brother Kevin. I heard that. Let's go.
Love it. I run into chicks that I knew from back then. They still want some of this. They still married with kids. One is a federal court judge, and two, I still remember back in those days. I'm like, what? You married for 20 years? I'm like, wow. I tend to attract ugly women. It's pretty sad because people tell me I'm not bad looking. You attract ugly women. I don't know what you mean. You attract ugly women. Okay. You got to approach, Nikki. Ugly women Fat women, they've always had to do the approaching because they got less options. Women with higher sexual marketplace value, they ain't gonna roll up on you. You got to go up to them. So that's probably your problem. If you're not bad looking, you unless you're approaching women confidently, you're banking on the fact that you look cute enough, smell good enough, and you want her to step to you. No, you got to step to her. That's why you see a lot of pretty women with average looking dudes, because most dudes don't approach pretty women because they're intimidated or scared. What I'm telling y'all is you don't have to be intimidated or scared of no woman. A woman wants you. They will let you know when they want you. Pretty women just like them. Pretty women more so. Because pretty women get approached by fewer guys than we already think. They hear all the stuff all the time. So if you approach her with the truth, she gonna dig on you. You approach a pretty woman.
I went back so far because I like context. So he was telling some stories before, and I know you'll be like, well, Amuna, where's the juice? Sometimes you jump into the juice, and then I don't want to misconstrue what the person is saying. So I went back a little bit further so we could kind of ease on into it and get a little context before he drops it on you. So we're going to keep rocking. Let's go.
Like this. Like I said, you're at a bar. You go to a club. Excuse you, you're standing in my place. What? You're standing in my place. What? You heard me? No, I'm just kidding, but seriously, y'all standing in my place. I mean, this is my place. This is my spot. Why are you in my joint? That's already going to twist her mind up. She's already engaged in a mental tug.
Wait, we can see he likes playing mind games. He likes, exploiting people to a certain degree, right? I heard a similar story that he told about coming up to a woman in a parking garage and telling her, you parked in my spot, and it was late at night and the woman was ready to fight him, and in his mind, this is the reason why. We might go over that one. This is the reason why she wasn't feminine, because she didn't back down when this, I'm like, what? So this is the foundation. He's telling you the principles, but upon which now he goes about doing his things and crafting these social experiments. So he says he likes going up to and basically intimidating women with the fact that he's a man, to say, like, you're in my spot. And this is the one I wanted to get to. Listen good. I'm gonna stop it when we get there, but keep listening.
War, that's enticing to them. What is she used to hearing? Ooh, you so pretty. Ooh, you so fine. Ooh, you so gorgeous. Ooh, girl, I drink your bath water. Blah, 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 blah. You want to hear that mess? What she want to hear is, girl, whatever. I'll take you back, blow your back out, pull you by your hair, and treat you like a cave woman.
So it's 10:30 on a Wednesday, and apparently I've sold close to $3,000 in sales on Amazon already.
Are you guys listening? I hope you're listening. This is before the wardrobe change. This is the mentality behind why I need you to rate yourself. Why people are like, he was doing the same to men. This is how he was talking to the men. Okay. He wasn't going to the level that he went to and that he found popularity with. Okay, this is what he's advising people. Don't treat her as a woman, treat her less than toxic. A cave woman. I didn't say it, he did. That's why I wanted to play this. See what I'm saying? Let's keep going. So we can understand that this was just a manifestation. This was the theory, and what he did later on was the practice. Please don't make him pretend like it was what it wasn't. Oh, he was trying to help people, like he said, blah, 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 blah. No, this was what was behind all of what people experienced, yet they still kept going. People say, well, why they kept going? Because you love your oppressor. What do you mean? Trauma bond, Stockholm syndrome, whatever you want to call it. The love of the oppressor. But let's continue.
Shut up. One story and I'm out. So, innocent
I have
phase,
to pause for a second.
because I was raised.
I have to pause for a second. Women, if you are listening to this, please, because, sometimes, again, like I said, who is he talking to? Who are these women? So if you're in the comment section, let us know if someone came up to you and spoke to you in that manner. Would that be something that you would be interested in? Would that be the type of person that you would be interested in? Or would you check him? Let me know. Story time, eh? I would have some choice words, but let's continue.
The simp. I learned pimping tactics. I went back to simping because it's hard to, unplug from the matrix. I moved to Houston. And I'm a member of a fraternity. And I go down, and we have one way of doing things where I'm from. I go down to Houston, and I got a fraternity brother. This dude is ugly as all. He looked like Shabba Ranks. Oh, this dude was just beat up from the feet up, but he was a cool brother. He had a game. That just shows you that. And this dude, everywhere he went, women was all over him. Dude looked like a burnt Dorito, but women loved him because he had a mouthpiece. We went down to the Kappa Beach party, and I'm sitting there trying to do the good guy role. Even though I know the simp stuff don't work, I fall back into simp tactics. I'm sitting there, and this chick walks by, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And she just looked at me like I had crap on me. I'm like, now I'm looking good, smelling good, got my polo this on, polo that. And we leaned on the car, and he was like, no, fine. No, bro, you can't do it that way. You can't do it like that down here. These chicks don't want to be talked to like that. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, let me show you how it's done. The finest chick I had seen, the Kappa Beach party was banging around this time of year. Finest chick I had seen walk by. He smacked her on her butt hard. I mean, it went pow! Oh, you heard that stuff all the way down in Beaumont. I'm like, oh, I know she about to punch you in your jaw. Fine. And she's like, pow! Hey, Red. She turned and looked at him like, And he's like, hey, Red, come here, girl. What? Girl, you heard me. Come over here. I'm like, oh, my God. She about to punch him. I'm like, oh, we about to die. I'm putting all this power and focus on this chick. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is our beach party. He's a Kappa. We on side of a Mercedes, but I'm putting her up on this pedestal. This is what I saw afterwards. What happened? She ended up walking over to him. He spit a little game to her for about 2 minutes. They roll off. He's like, all right, bro. Here's the keys to the car. We're going in her car. We're going back to her room. Finest chick on the beach. He slapped on her butt. Hey, girl, come over here. And she left with him. And my butt out there simping being nice.
Pause. It's how, as we all do in life, you pick up things from stories. And to me, when I heard this, I was like, oh, could that be why he likes that little slap sound that he goes around proverbially and virtually slapping women just because he feels he can? He's going to go on to explain it. So basically, like he said, when he did good behavior, he didn't get the results he was looking for, so he decided to do bad behavior. And people around him are engaging in this negative bad behavior, and they're training the people around and the women around to accept this behavior, right? And now he's like, oh, okay, then acting good is not getting me no progress. Let me emulate those around me who are getting what they want. So for those who are following behind him, the question is, what type of women and where are you looking for these women that would let you and allow you to violate them in certain ways and have nothing to say? Like, what type of woman is that? That's the question. I just have too many questions. I mean, I went to, anyway, let's just continue.
Can't argue with the lived experience. That's what happened. So from that point on, I was like, oh, that's what's up. So I could either, and here's the thing as men, we resist doing things that work because we want it to work the way we want it to. It's like saying, put on clothes that fit. Care more about your appearance. Up your shoe game. Wear fragrance. Do all these things. Do all this. Yeah, I know all that stuff works, and I can see the data, and I can get all the references and everything else, but I ain't gonna do it that way. I'm gonna do it my way. Because men, we hard-headed. We hard-headed, we don't learn. Or we only learn the hard way. You hear too many guys telling you these kind of stories to understand, look, men, women like dominant men, cocky men, confident men. It don't matter if you're working in McDonald's.
Oh, they wasn't high value there 3 years ago. It don't matter if you're working at McDonald's. You got everything to offer. Wait a minute, what happened to the high value? It doesn't matter if you're working at McDonald's. I see he switched up that thought process. But again, it may be, like I keep saying, I have to keep reiterating it, because to say that women like cocky, you can, again, assured, focused, know what you're doing, but somebody who's going to assault me, and it's like, oh, that's not what type of women? That's the question I keep asking. What type of women? The type that you may be attracted to. Overgeneralizing. We went over this in the as we were talking about things of communicating. Overgeneralizing, because this is his lived experience in a certain space, right?
They want you. They want it all. They want sex just like you want sex. Make it easy for her to be with you. It is simple as that. If you slap a chick on the ass right now, she's on the street, she calls it sexual harassment. I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you on that.
He disagrees.
I see it happen in too many clubs. It's all how you do it. But I get the point. See, we as men, you know, when I used to teach guys how to pick up women, because I've had a stint as a dating coach, I can teach all that stuff, you know. One of the biggest fears guys will have, I don't want to do that.
Wait a minute. He had a stint as a dating coach, and then when he realized it was rather lucrative, he jumped back in as an Instagrammable dating coach. But again, it's almost finished. But are you getting the point? Are you getting the point? Are you getting the point? That's all I want to know. Because if so, then we're gonna wind on down. Let me see what's going on. It's a difference between, again, confident. That's another conversation, and being a disrespectful. And what he speaks about is being disrespectful. Not just speaks, that's how he and others like him, that's how they present themselves. There's one thing about being confident as a man, but if you think it's like somebody there is a time when leadership was modeled by the master. Yeah. And so when melanated men who were humbled in the sight of the European because of the enslavement, when they got, oftentimes when many got an opportunity to be in power, the person who they emulated was massa, because that's what quote unquote power looked like. But that's what abusive power looked like. That's not somebody who's strong and confident in their position. That's somebody who has to employ all of these tactics to maintain power over someone. So he's emulating that from the pimp culture, the Mac culture. If you missed that one, I'm not going to play that one. That was another episode. And he's emulating what he thinks power and control and manhood looks like. That's not what real manhood looks like. But let's continue for the sake of time. Let's continue for the sake of time.
Because what if she throws a drink in my face or slaps me in the face? I'm like, when have you ever seen that happen? Well, I haven't. I was like, you see it on TV and on movies. But if I'm telling you it works,
that works. So as a dating coach, you gave that you gave that story and told people that this is what works. Violate someone else's space because they like it. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all.
You're gonna do well. I don't see a lot of guys are afraid of success. That's why we stay stuck. Man, if you just wear clothes that fit, it don't matter what brand it is. Man, if you just wear some fragrance, if you do this, that's why we vacillate between these simp and pimp, because a lot of us are afraid of success because we've been made to be afraid of manhood and our masculinity. But this rabbit hole can go far too deep. Suffice it to say, my uncle didn't have to think that way. My grandfather and them didn't have to think that way. That's why shows like Mad Men were so successful, because men were men and we associate. That's why shows like The Walking Dead are so successful, because you see a society where men are men. Look,
I'm trying to figure out what men is meant. I mean, he's telling us, but it just seems that there's no discipline. There is encroaching in other people's spaces and feeling like you have total right to a stranger's body. Hey, I like you, spit some game to the person, and then you feel entitled to them. And this, I know they say it's a buzzword, but this is toxic. I'm sorry. It's not this. I'm not even saying it. I haven't been saying it on all this. This is a toxic mentality. This is not a mentality that's going to value the other person that you're with. This is a mentality that I'm going to exploit the person. I'm going to use manipulation tactics to get what I want from that person and move on to another person. This right here, I hope this video don't get too long, but I kind of wanted to go back a little, so let's keep going.
I know we've been told a lot of stuff, and it ain't my thing to smack a woman on her ass. I'm just saying you can do it figuratively, but you can't go upside her head figuratively. And when I tell a chick, get out of my space, you're in my space, I'm going upside her head or smacking her on her butt. I am asserting. I'm sorry. Listen to all of the violent language, smacking her, going upside her head. Does this sound like somebody who loves and is supposed to be in protecting and caring for the feminine principle? Or does this sound like somebody who has some issues with the feminine principle? This doesn't sound like, hey, brothers, let me teach you how to love and connect. Right? I guess that's the simp version. But I am adversarial towards you, and this is why this energy that's coming from him is causing so much division, because at the very root it's adversarial. At the root it's divisive. At the root it's a negative energy that's surrounding these truths, and that's why it's having the effect that it's having. This is my dominance. I'm pissing on my territory. She's in my territory. If she stays, that means she wants to get pissed on. That means she wants to be with me. If she don't, she know how to leave.
Your eyes are gonna look years and years younger in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, you're gonna have.
Did you hear that? I'm sorry, I was talking about for the lead up, but that's kind of what I wanted to get to today. What in all of R. Kelly is going on? Did the brother just say he's asserting his dominance and he's pissing on his territory? Like, hey, you in my space, hey, you in my seat, even if you don't even own the place, even if you're at a Starbucks, even if you're at a parking garage, it's not even your space. So we're playing land of make-believe here, okay? And you're going into all these communal spaces and pissing proverbially on your territory. And this is the part that got me. If she stays, it means that she wants to get pissed on. So, special service announcement to all the women that keep calling into the show. This is his territory. Therefore, according to his rationale, the moment you agree to go on this live stream, the moment make no mistake about it, you being entrapped, make no mistake. But the moment you enter into that space, you are agreeing to be pissed on. And not only are you agreeing to be pissed on, you are agreeing for him to make a mockery of you and to monetize that pissing so that this right here. There's a certain type of person who will go for this, and it's someone who has been oftentimes exposed to, has a trauma, has an injury, has a vulnerability, someone male and female who may be attracted to this and not able to see it for what it is. But I'm gonna let it play out just a little bit more.
Women have choices. And they're not these dainty little delicate creatures who need to be saved by us. Have you ever been with a woman in a bed?
So pause. Because him has an issue with women, then now I have to, like I said before, I have to dehumanize you. In order for somebody to manipulate you, to exploit you, they have to make you less than human in their mind, so that they don't feel that they're doing anything wrong. So you listen for language of, you're not dainty, you don't need my protection, because if you did and you were, then I couldn't justify doing what I'm doing to you. But at the same time, he was the one who just said earlier that he's superior, he's dominant, and you're submissive. So if the dominant person, the one who's overpowering the other one, how are they not dainty in need of protection when you are the one who's overpowering them? If the parents are dominant and the child is supposed to be submissive and the parent is providing for that child, then that parent is also supposed to protect that child. So how could you be dominant and superior and at the same time says that person who you're lording over, you don't need to protect because they're not dainty? And now you're going to go to the only space that you keep talking about for this whole time, which is sexually exploiting this person. Let's go.
Who sexually knows herself, she will kill you. So the smack on the butt, no, I don't agree. You mess around with some of these chicks, they want to smack you and harness you up. You better watch. If I can't slap her, how should I approach it? Ask her to slap herself. Even better. Yep. You get her first you get here, then the body's easy. But that's a talk for another day.
It sure is.
The takeaways from this, guys.
It sure is a talk for another day. Did you hear what he said? First you get her here, and then the body is easy. So what does that sound like? That doesn't sound like somebody who's giving you love, long-lasting relationships, and how to make your marriage work. And so you keep asking people about marriage, but that's not your intent. There was another video where he said you can pay him to get married again, right? So you dominate the person, you violate the person, you manipulate the person in their minds, and then you take the one thing that may be precious to that person, which is their body, and then you discard them. Wow. That was to sum it up, right? So he says, first you get her in her mind, and the body is easy. Let me know your thoughts in the description below, man. Comment section. Thank everybody for tuning in.
Dum da dum 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 da dum dum dum. I'm tired. Y'all know I don't be having this long stream energy. After about hour and 30, I'm glad that we played that little bit because I would have been done. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Wait, hold on. Let me play a little commercial break real quick, and then we'll sum it up. The mic is open for a few 5-10 minutes. Let me just take a little refresher, and I'll be right back, and we can have our closing thoughts. I'll see some of the stuff you said. And it is what it is. It was already on record. You understand? It was already on record. It is what it is. He said what he said. That was the inner workings behind what we experienced. I don't care how you want to paint it. You could put glittery epoxy on it. I don't care. It is what it is. It wasn't about what people were saying it was about. It was a mixed bag. And at the core of it, it was doing bad to get a desired result. Okay? Now we have a commercial from Casa.
Jamaica woman, I'm a strong Jamaica woman.
So these are some easy wraps for those who like to wrap their hair occasionally every day, and you may have issues with the way, the wraps are or the cloth. I designed some easy wraps, custom made. So hit me up if you're interested. And let me go ahead and give the Yummy Cottage a shout out, shall we? So the other day we had a Mother's Day brunch edition, and we used the syrups. We made pancakes, waffle breakfasts, and the people was tearing it up. Y'all better know that the syrups are on point. So if you want to order syrups or seasoning, going over to theyummycottage.com. So support the thing so we could have time like this to come and have these type of conversations. You know what I mean? You got to pay the bills. You heard what John said. He said my Wi-Fi was janky. You know what I mean? Yeah, Judah, there was a lot going on. John, you got the timestamp. Drop the timestamp and your point or whatever it is that you have an objection to. Just drop it in the box below, and I'll take a look at that. Not now, because we heading at 2:15 hour. I mean, not 2:15. It's 3:10, but 2 minutes and 15 seconds. John is saying I'm ignoring what's going on in the real world. No, no, no. Everybody always says, Amuna, you take things too literally, bruh. If somebody says something again and again, it stands to reason that that's what they mean, right? It stands to reason. Now, that show, that breakdown, it was for me to understand. I didn't go to the viral clips. I didn't get offended and triggered at everything that he was saying because that's too easy. That's too easy. I don't move like that. I don't operate like that because that's too much time and energy. That means the person has sway over you, and every time they say something, you got to get in your feelings. Oh my goodness, they said this again. Nah, I like to understand, and once I feel as though I've dug enough research, gotten to where I can understand where this person is coming from and how they're operating, then I'm pretty cool. You understand? Because it makes sense. It's like if you understand how a car works, then you're not surprised every time you turn the engine and it drives. So if you can see that this is where that person is coming from, this is the basis by where they're operating, and that their doctrine is tainted by this experience, then it makes sense that they're going to advise people in the way that they're advising them. It doesn't mean it's good. It's for the people to say, you know what, this person is off. This person doesn't know what they're talking about, and for them to go their way. But the women chose to go on his platform, and he already said, you come in my space, I'm going to piss on you, proverbially or otherwise. So basically, in his mind, they agreed to getting the treatment that they got because they already saw who he was, and they decided to come anyway. And he put that on the display for the world to see. So if anything, at this point in time, hold the women accountable, and the men accountable who partook in this Roman gladiator type sport. I wasn't sitting there watching that every day. Don't nobody got no time for all of that. Drop it down, John. It's late in the game. It's late in the game. Drop down the timestamp and the comment. You make a lot of comments. I don't know how I'm supposed to keep up with all of this. Let me drop the link in the box. Let me know your closing thoughts, because that was a lot. For those who just joined us, you're probably going to have to go back to the top. What we went over was the National Black Church Initiative, the stern warning. We went over some biblical scripture. We found out we're not speaking of the dead, where that thought process came from. Then we went back over understanding Kevin Samuels. We did a lot today. It's like a whole college course or something. So let me see what else here. Yeah, CJ says he also said that women should submit to men because he is a man, not your man, all men. This is what I'm saying. He had a lot of twisted thought process, but again, it lives on. Like they said, it lives on, and the issue and problem is that it has spread and permeated in the minds and hearts of people across the globe. So if there wasn't enough issues in the relationship between the man and the woman, there's a new hurdle in town. Okay, it's like in certain religious spaces, doctrines that are pushed. It's not only that the man and the woman, how they interface can be problematic. It's when these doctrines are running like viruses in the background that cause more issues than they do solve problems. So this is in addition to other hazardous thought processes and doctrines that are running in the background. This one is blaring in the background. And so a lot of times men are filtering their actions and behavior through what he said will get them their desired result. Right? I've known people who broke up over this dude, broken up over him. Like, how is he in the middle of people's relationships and they're literally breaking up? That's crazy. And that's about it. Let me see here. Yeah, so just going up to hitting women, I don't know if you would take that advice, Okay, he says 131, you were responding to my comment about you holding men with no kids responsible for what Pookie does. Okay, so what's the question? Is it a question or a statement you have? Thank you for the time marker. Let me know the question or a statement, because then it'll be on record so that I can go back and look and listen. And you said it's yesterday's video? I got to go do making up something. While John is coming up with that, let me play my little head wrap thing one more time, y'all. Actually, matter of fact, I got a short little commercial here. We gotta promote the thing. With that said, I'm about to roll out. I'm about to roll out. Oh, Karen has a word. Let's listen. Hold on. I got some new material that I'm gonna make some of these raps with. So let's get to joke before we go, shall we? Let me get 2 jokes before we go, and then we let we go. Drink water and mind my business. Drink the water and mind my business. Let me drink water and mind my business. Um, hold on, peeps. Drink water and mind my business. One more, and then I shall. Do 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 do. Boom. Miss Karen, let's have a word for Miss Karen for those who have missed her.
Karen here. Listen. I'm down here at the Yummy Cottage about to get another one of the easy wraps. Oh, I'm in love with them, but I can't decide what to pick. She has this color. Oh, and then she has this. I think I'll get all 3. Which one would you choose? Would it be this one? Or look, she told me if you want one too, hit her up on social media, jump into those DMs, and she will hook you up. Okay?
Oh
Till
no,
next
you
time.
guys can't see Miss Karen. Hold on, I gotta do it again.
I said till next time. Why are you still waiting?
Let's do it again. My bad.
Listen. I'm down here at the Yummy Cottage about to get another one of the easy wraps. Oh, I'm in love with them, but I can't decide what to pick. She has this color. Oh, and then she has this. I think I'll get all 3. Which one would you choose? Would it be this one? Or look, she told me if you want one too, hit her up on social media, jump into those DMs, and she will hook you up. Okay? Till next time. I said till next time. Why are you still waiting? Click that link.
Y'all don't mind me. That's Miss Karen telling y'all to go ahead and check out. Tell me for real, which one would you guys choose, the yellow one or the green one? I'm about to go make one right now. So with that said, thank everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody have a blessed day. You don't know. Enjoy yourself out there. Be safe. Take care of your family. Love your children. Remember you. All right, I'll check that out, John. I agree with Judah. That chick Karen is hilarious. Go ahead and click that link. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk again next time. She likes the pink and peach one. All right, now hit us up.